was dark. I could hardly see my hand in front of my face. I reached down towards the cupboard door and hesitated to open it. I slowly gained the courage, and I reached my hand towards the door. And then I threw open the door, and bam! There was a child inside covered in blood, and that's not actually what happened. So today I'm going to be telling some babysitter stories from when I babysat for a specific family for about 6 months last summer. So let's get into it. So I have a friend who babysat for a family who we'll call the Jensens, and that friend had just gotten a job, and so she no longer needed to work for these people. So she was like, hey, I know that you were looking for a babysitting job. Would you like to take the one that I've been doing? And I was like, yeah, of course, let's go. Can you contact them and ask them if they're available for like an interview or something? She was like, yeah, I got you. So then later on, I am ready to do this interview thing. So I go to this woman's house and I'm like ready to just slay this interview. And so I walk up to the door, I ring the doorbell, and the kid answers the door. And I think he was like 4 at the time. And so I walk in the house and I'm like, okay, let's do this. And it was a split level home, so you can look up the stairs and you can see like the family room and whatever, and you can look down the stairs. And when I looked down the stairs, when I was standing on top of like the stairwell, the carpet, like the entire floor, was just covered in toys. Like just, you could not see the carpet, not kidding. So I was like, alright, she's probably just having a rough week. It's fine, it's whatever. So then I meet the mom, and she was very nice and whatever, and so then she had 4 kids, and she was also pregnant with number 5. So we're gonna call the kids Adam, Jake, Anna, and Gavin. Something I should add about Gavin is that he was a special needs child, so he had different muscle problems which caused him to not be able to walk very well, and also he couldn't speak. So 3 boys and 1 girl. I was like, I got you, we're good, it's all covered. So the next week, she calls me to babysit like a Saturday evening from like 5 to 10. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So I get to the house and she had already made the dinner, but the kids hadn't eaten yet. So she just instructed me on some things and told me, you know, how to put their kids to bed and what their routine was like and that kind of thing. So then she leaves with her husband to go on a date night. So I go upstairs to feed them the food, which is macaroni and cheese, which you would think would be super simple. But no, it was not. Let me tell you why. I proceed to dish out the food to these children. And every single one of them spills everywhere. Not kidding, okay? There was like noodles flying everywhere. They started having like a food fight in the middle of it and like running around the table in circles, specifically Anna and Adam, and it was just chaos everywhere. And I was like 14 at the time. I'm like, I don't know what to do, whatever. And this is like one of my first ever babysitting jobs. So finally get them to calm down, finally get them to finish their food. It probably took an hour. At least it felt like it. And so I finally managed to like clean up the whole kitchen, and I have that all done, and I'm feeling pretty proud of myself. I'm like, whoo, I got this. So then I play with the kids for a bit and everything's going great, and then it's time to put them to bed. So I finally managed to put all the kids in bed, and then Anna comes out of her room and she's all like, can I have some water? And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So I give her water, and then I put her back in bed. And then Adam comes out and he's like, oh, can I have water? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so then he goes back to bed. But then Jake decides to come out and be like, can I have some water? And I'm like, oh my gosh. When Jake came out, Anna and Adam heard him because he was being loud about something, and then they all came running into the kitchen. And I'm like, all my work is undone. Are you kidding me? So finally, evening's over, parents come back home. I'm like, okay, thank you for your money. I'm leaving now. Fast forward to the next week. She calls me up again for another 5 to 10 shift on a Saturday because her and her husband are going on another date night. So I'm like, cool. So I get to the house and there's no dinner prepared this time. So she showed me some things I could make, some things that were in the freezer. She was like, you could just do peanut butter sandwiches if you want. And I'm thinking to myself, ain't no way I'm doing macaroni and cheese again, so we gotta figure out something else. So she had a box of chicken nuggets in the freezer, so I was like, okay, we're gonna do that. So I pop in the chicken nuggets, they're ready in like 20 minutes or whatever it was, and then we eat dinner, and it was a lot better, I guess. I mean, it was still messy, and the kids still were like running around the table or whatever, but like, it wasn't that big a mess to clean up. So I'm cleaning the kitchen, and I'm doing whatever to get ready to play with the kids. And I can hear Jake and Adam fighting and yelling at each other about something. And I was like, okay, I gotta fix this. So I go to check on Gavin to make sure that he is still inside of his room with the gate locked, because since he has muscle issues and there's stairs, like again I told you it's a split level, so there's 2 staircases, they don't want him getting out of his room and falling down the stairs or anything because he can't walk well. So I go to make sure that his gate is still locked, and then I go down to help fix the problem with Jake and Adam. Little did I know that Gavin had recently figured out how to unlock the gate. His mother had never told me this. So I go downstairs to fix the argument, and I fix it. It's all good. I'm walking up the stairs, and as I am on the top step of the first staircase on my way to go up the second staircase, I can see him dangling from a railing, about to fall down the whole staircase. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I start running up the staircase, but he starts to fall before I can catch him and falls all the way down the steps, like the whole way down. And so then I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? So like, I'm picking him up and I'm trying to see if everything's okay, but his mom had told me that he doesn't register pain. That's another part of his special needs issues. So it's not like he's gonna cry, but there might actually be something wrong. So I tried to call the parents, and I'm like calling the mom and I'm calling the dad because I had both their phone numbers, and neither one of them is picking up, and I'm kind of freaking out, and all the kids are like, oh my gosh, is Gavin gonna be fine? And I'm like, I don't know. And so then I just take him upstairs and I put an ice pack on his head, and he seems fine. There wasn't like a bump or anything, but his head hit the stairs like I'd seen it. So, but he seemed fine. Anyway, his parents got home, I told them what happened, and they were like, okay, he's probably gonna be fine, whatever. So I was like, okay, alright, cool. A few days pass, and now it's like Tuesday or Wednesday, and so she calls and she asks if I can come over for about 3 hours so she can run some errands. So let's call this from like 8 to 11 or something. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. So I come over, and I'm just playing with the kids downstairs, Adam, Anna, and Gavin. And then I hear Jake yelling my name from upstairs. He's like, Noelle, Noelle. And I'm like, what's going on? So I go up the stairs to see what's happening with Jake, and he's in the bathroom. He's like, Noelle, you gotta come here. I got a problem. And I'm like, okay, what's the problem? And so proceeds to open the door, and like now I'm seeing everything, which I do not want to see that, okay? Let's just not. You're like 6 years old. We do not need this. And then he has a lump of something in his hand. And guess what that lump of something was, y'all? It was poop. Like just a pile in his hand. I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, I was about to poop my pants and I didn't want to poop on the floor, but I wasn't going to make it to the toilet, so I decided to poop in my hand instead. How? I mean, really? So I end up being like, okay, here's some hand sanitizer wipes, do what you gotta do. I am not helping with this. I am sorry. It's not happening. So then he cleaned it up himself or whatever, but I was just done that day. But we were no. So about a month later, after a few more times of this just like continual whatever going on with these babysitting jobs with this woman and her children, she hands me a list of all the expectations that she has for me to do, or like tasks to perform while I'm babysitting the kids, specifically at night. And one of the things that was on this list was bathing the kids. And me being 14, I did not know how to stick up for myself, how to say I am not comfortable with this. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. And I was like, I'll do anything for the money. It's fine. And keep in mind, guys, I was not getting paid like $20 an hour for these 4 monstrous children, including the special needs child. I was getting paid $10 an hour. Let me just tell y'all something. If you are ever in a situation where you are like going above and beyond, you're like cleaning, you're bathing the children apparently, and like changing diapers and whatever, you should be getting paid more than $10 an hour. That's just a fact. My mom paid $10 an hour for my sister and I, and we were well-behaved little children. So, don't do it. So anyway, that night, I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm gonna bathe these kids. So Adam and Jake could shower. They were 8 and 6, so they could go do that. Adam and Gavin, however, were 4 and 2, so they needed to be bathed. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So I'm with the kids in the bathtub, and I have Anna and Gavin, and I'm just like getting the water ready, and we're like doing the stuff, and so then they both get in the water. And of course, Anna wants to play with all these toys, whereas me, I just want to like get it over with. I did not want to deal with this, but I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm like, alright, here's some toys, you can do what you want. And then Gavin was also in the water, and Anna was kind of being like, okay, you have to like make sure that his head is above the water because he can't stand super well. And I was like, okay. So I'm just doing what I can there. And so I finished with those kids, and so I go downstairs ready to see Jake and Adam in their pajamas, right? No, they were just playing around in their room naked, no big deal. So anyway, after dealing with those children, I was like, y'all need to get in the shower, let's go. So after about an hour of trying to get this over with, finally we have the whole process done. And after that night, let me tell ya, I went home and I talked to my parents, and they were like, okay, you're not doing that again, we're gonna talk to her. And I'm like, okay, thank you. So trust me, I never did end up bathing those kids ever again. That was the end of that. Well, I think that's going to be the end of this video. I might make a part 2, so if you'd like to see that, please leave a comment down below. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you liked this video. Please comment down below and leave a suggestion for a future video, and you can like and subscribe as well, and hit that bell icon to get notified every single time that I post. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Yeah, baby.